Hey guys, it's Leo again. I'm here with another Record of Agarest War 2 video for the PS3. This time the format's going to be a little bit different though. I promised in my last video that I would go into greater detail on the battle system of this game, and I've now reached the beginning of the second generation, as you can plainly see, so I think I've gotten to that point. The other difference is, unfortunately, every time I tried to record this video, the audio and video kept falling out of sync. So I am going to just narrate the video as it plays. So that'll be a little bit different. We won't have any of the actual game noises going along with it like I would on my other videos. But in any case, files loaded up here, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to learn new skills and how to apply them and what good they do. So you're going to open up your menu here, and you're going to go ahead and go down to the skill menu. Now what you do is, in Subscrbe, the main town, at Righteous Beheading, you can purchase these skill books. And once you use the TP to buy them, you open up the menu here and you go into your learned skills. And normally I have a book on Medial Arts 11, but I'm going to take that off. There's 4 different ranks of books you purchase. And naturally, starting with rank 1, that's the weakest of them all, and then gets stronger as you go. When you go into any of the ranks, they're color-coded. Each different grouping, you can see here, like 1, 2, and 3 are green, 4, 5, and 6 are blue. You're only able to learn the skills out of one book from each color grouping. So you actually have to put a little bit of thought and weigh the options. As you can see here, I'm looking at what was in book 3 that I taught to Ava. It was a mix of attack and magic, or melee and magic attacks, I should say. Now, the other cool thing is when you use the TP to learn all the abilities in the book, you master it. And when you master the book, all those stats over on the right there, like the HP 50, Strength plus 2, etc., those are permanent stat increases for the character that read the book. So you can really customize your party in this game pretty well. My party would be drastically different than anybody else's, I'm quite sure, as a result of this system that they've implemented. I really like it. It's kind of handy. Now, as you go down the entire list here, you can see in rank 1, for example, there's 16 books that are grouped into 4 different colors. So, you know, you're only able to learn 4 books out of that whole rank. Going into rank 2, though, I just got a couple of new books, and I actually had accidentally clicked on 11 for her and didn't realize that you're stuck, even though I didn't learn anything out of 11 yet. As soon as you click it on, you're stuck. So I just gave her a very melee-heavy book, but I went ahead and learned everything there, mastered it, got a new extend skill that affects your party when you're all extended and linked together. Anyway, going up here to my attack list, you can actually see now that I've got a full grid, which I did not in the first video. And going over to Ava's, I've got Rush is my first attack, Fireball is my second attack, and Wind is my third. So if I hit triangle 3 times in battle, that's the order I would use the attacks. Jumping down here to the combination attacks, I've got a much bigger list than you probably remember from last time. Now, if you look at this grid over on the right side, I finally understand now how these work. Essentially, the skill needed for Flame Bullet is Fire. Go figure. So I'm able to use tier 3 of this attack because everybody in my party has at least level 4 skill with fire attacks. For the longest time, I was using these combination attacks and I didn't understand why or what was going on. I was essentially fulfilling the requirements for tier 1 on them, which is not a difficult thing to do in many of the cases. So that's why they kept flying off like in my other video and stuff, and I really didn't understand why. But that's the gist of it. When you have skill levels for everybody, that's how it works. Now, if I were to go up to Hati, which I should do here in about a second, I might be getting ahead of myself. There it goes. I can do tier 1 because Ava's got level 5 on her wind skill, and Jude, the red-haired guy, has level 4 on his combo skill. However, nobody in my party has at least level 6 on wind, so I can't go up to the tier 2 just yet. On Arc Ray, I don't even have anybody with the minimum of level 7 on Void, so I can't even use that at all. For Raging Storm, I do have the level 5 for wind, but I don't have anybody that's got level 6 for wind, so I can't even use tier 1 for that. But as you can imagine, as you read more books and level your skills up with each different style of attack over time, you're going to get access to a ton of different options for these combination attacks and beefing them up, obviously, to the higher tiers. Like, going into this menu here, I wanted to show you. You see how it says burst with the green triangle pointed up and then a gray arrow to another green triangle or arrow? That means that when I hit triangle, it stays on triangle when I use that attack. But if I go over here to Hunter Killer, it goes from triangle down to the X button attack, the down style of attack. There are a great many attacks that I have now that actually shift the style of attack after you use them, which is awesome because in my first video, I assumed you were somewhat pigeonholed into one style. After you hit that guard break status, I thought you were just stuck on like triangle or square. Now that I've got these attacks, you can see that one goes from X to square, for example. You're very much able to fluctuate your moves, and I'll actually go ahead and show you a battle here, so that way it's a little bit more understandable as opposed to me just spouting off at the mouth. Now, I am going to take this opportunity to plug my other video if you haven't watched it yet. The comments I'm getting, people think it's a good video, which is great. Thank you for saying so. But I was hearing a lot of people still on the fence, and I wanted to come out with this battle video to really put those doubts at ease. So, I'm going to go ahead here and attack this pixie. You can see everybody's linked together, which I covered in my last video. I'm going to go ahead and use Schwartz here, and I start off with some X button attacks, critical charge, drop dead, and you can see at the top there it says change with the little square, the little explosion icon. If I hit X one more time, I use rapid move, and now I'm on square. And I know I covered that a bit the first time around, but it's a little easier to see now, and I can explain it better. So I just keep hitting square here, and now I just did a 3-person Sonic Blast. This is a 2-person Scarlet Peony, and this whole time I've just been hitting square with Schwartz, another 2-person Brandish, so I haven't seen any difference whatsoever. You want to be smart about this though, like I switched to Janus, and now I'm not going to be increasing the wait timer on Schwartz anymore, but you can still do these linked attacks as long as you have them set up the right way like I did in my menu. And this move, by the way, Mirage Force, I had never seen that until I filmed this video. It's a pretty cool attack. Anyway, gonna save on the ultimate strike and save my ultimate point. I'm not gonna use it. I'm just gonna go ahead and hold off on that, get my AP and weight bonuses, which come in very handy, especially in boss battles. If my math is right, you get about a 25% increase to your AP when you don't use those ultimate strikes, so they're very worth using. In any case, you need to hold on to these ultimate points for what are called final strikes. Or finish strikes. I keep saying that wrong. And I'll show you those at the end of this video, but I just wanted to mention it now. I'm going to build up a couple, so that way I have enough to show them later. Going back into the regular attacks just to show you some more linked moves. I'm going to start off with Schwartz on this Hydra and use some of his triangle attacks here in just a moment. And you'll see that they go, you know, I start off, I guard break it, and then as he goes on, you can see the AP count increasing because I'm using these bigger attacks. And then suddenly it'll come up, change to X, and I use Hunter Killer, a 4-person Hunter Killer, which is a really cool looking move, by the way. I like it a lot. Now I'm on X, and anybody that I use will change it to square. So I hit it again, I change it to using mugging with Schwartz, and Ava, it changes to square. So now I'm on square attacks. And I'm going to go ahead and use these a bit. I just got my second ultimate point there by getting my breakover status. So I'm going to not kill this guy. I'm going to hold off here for a moment for my turn to end, so that way I can go ahead and use the finish strike I mentioned earlier. Now, the gist with those is they are essentially they're linked attacks or combination attacks using each character's special move, like their original skill. So they're obviously very powerful, have high break values, great for boss fights if you need an overkill, but you've got to save at least one ultimate point in order to use it. So you'll see here, after this guy's turn's over, I'm going to go ahead and set Janus as the leader, and then I realized when I did it that Schwartz did not get into position, so because of the stupid thing's tentacle being in the way. So I had to waste some time here and let this guy speed through the animation, so he just whacks me zeros and whatnot. Get into Schwartz and make him the leader, so everyone does get synchronized. So back to attacking now. Go ahead and enjoy the little beatdown that Janus and Schwartz give him up front. And you'll see here how this all pans out at the end. I do go ahead and use Dazzle Distraction here, his original skill, just because I think it's awesome that he pulls the White of Heart, the gold sword. I don't know how to pronounce the name for it, but the main sword from the series. Just pulls it right out of his back pocket like it's no big deal. I'm just going to kick your ass, wreck your day over here. I mean, it's so Schwartz. I love his personality. He's just such a douchebag. He's an enjoyable character to play as, and that move just suits him completely. Oh, forgive the focus here. I just used Triumph Crochet with Janus, which is an important move to keep around, by the way, to rare steal. Having gotten platinum trophies on the first 2 games, I can tell you the amount of grinding and legwork that's required, and if you can get any sort of advantage by stealing stuff throughout the course of the game, it helps you greatly. I always would recommend using Janus, and always steal from every big enemy and boss enemy. Anyway, you've got to use your ultimate strike first, so you got to get the enemy into breakover, use the ultimate strike, blow them away, and as long as you've got 1 ultimate point, you'll see finish strike come up here. So you go ahead and hit X, and all I've got is Hazard Strike, which is a link between Schwartz and Jude. I know you can't see it because of the flare, but it's an awesome display in badassery with these 2 guys. He just goes ahead and he's like, here, dude, just take 2 shots from my badass back bazooka. Meanwhile, Schwartz comes in and just does some like Dante from Devil May Cry shit, juggles him in the air, beats the crap out of him. Their attacks blow together. It's awesome. I love the animation for that move. The first time I saw it, I was like, holy crap! Freaking out. And there goes focus again. Sorry about that. My camera is a little bit tweaked, apparently. In any case, you get the idea now. I wanted to make sure I demonstrated that. Those are the developments in the battle system that I have come across, and I believe that's as far along as it's going to get. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some veterans out there that watch this video, and they think, oh, you're an idiot. You completely missed this possibility or this awesome combo attack. I totally realize that. I don't claim to be an expert at this yet. I'm still learning, but the fact that the options are there is what I'm excited about and what intrigues me about this game. There's definitely going to be quite a lot of customizing, and I'm sure I'll be back with another video of some optional boss fight, or maybe not even an optional fight, just like some big boss that takes a couple minutes so I can show off some of my skills and abilities a little bit. The last thing I really wanted to touch on real quick, the storyline in this game really does seem to be a bit more fleshed out than the other 2. For starters, you gain access to the 5 continents in the first generation alone. So there's a lot of exploration and a lot of freedom in that regard, and that I thought was kind of cool. The other thing is the storyline seems to be a bit more overarching. I noticed that in the first 2 games, it always seemed to be that the storyline fixated more on the specific generation that you were in. And I actually start playing with the zoom here a little bit to try and get rid of that flare, but in any case, you know, it seemed to be fixated more on that generation, and this is more overarching, so definitely like it, definitely recommend it. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it, and don't forget to